Synthesis of various hormones. Okay, so we have already understood in our previous class that on the basis of chemical structures, or on the basis of nature of chemical nature, we can broadly classify hormones into three major categories. They are proteinaceous hormones or peptide hormones. Second one is steroid hormones, and third one is derivatives of tyrosine amino acid. So all these three different types of hormones have different method of synthesis in the endocrine cells. So let us discuss the synthesis of protein hormones first. Okay, our today's discussion is synthesis of protein hormones. Although these are although these are hormones, their chemical, basically they are proteins, so they do follow the classical protein synthetic pathway. Okay, you must be remembering the uh, you know central dogma of molecular biology, in which DNAs are transcribed into mRNA. Okay, as per the requirement, genes are transcribed into mRNAs, and they are transported into the cytoplasm, where they are translated into specific protein. So this is the way how genes are expressed. Okay, so as a physiological condition requires, when proteinaceous hormones are to be synthesized, they also do follow the same pathway. Okay, like other cells, these proteinaceous hormones are also synthesized on the rough endoplasmic reticulum of different endocrine cells. Firstly, they are synthesized as larger proteins. Okay, first they are synthesized as larger inactive proteins called pre-prohormones. Okay, pre-prohormones are the inactive proteins which are synthesized at first. Then they are cleaved into smaller molecules in endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, the pre-prohormones are cleaved to smaller molecules called prohormones. Okay, pre-prohormones are cleaved to prohormones in the endoplasmic reticulum. These prohormones are then transferred to Golgi apparatus for packaging packaging to secretory vesicles, during which enzymes in the vesicles cleave the prohormones to smaller biologically active hormones and inactive fragments. So this is what is shown in this diagram. Okay, the mRNAs, they assemble with the ribosomes which are attached to the endoplasmic reticulum. That's what I said, the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So during translation, mRNAs are translated into a larger polypeptide into the lumen of the endoplasmic reticulum, to which we call as the pre-prohormones. Okay, then they are processed in the uh, uh, you know endoplasmic reticulum, and some parts are removed. That's what we said, they are cleaved in the endoplasmic reticulum, and therefore a small signal sequence is being cleaved off from the pre-prohormones. Now this part is called the prohormone. Okay, prohormone, they are then taken into the Golgi apparatus, they fuse with the Golgi apparatus, and finally they are packed into the vesicles. Once they are exit from the Golgi apparatus, they are actually packed into a vesicle. Okay, a peptide or a secretory vesicle which contains the prohormone, and the enzymes present in the secretory vesicles, they cleave these prohormones into active hormone. Okay, this bluish one is the active hormone, and these pinkish or reddish ones are the peptide fragments. So once the prohormones are cleaved by the enzymes present in the secretory vesicles, we will get the active hormones and some fragments of peptides, and which are functionally inactive. The active one is the functionally active hormones. And this hormones may be these vesicles, hormone containing secretory vesicles, are either stored in the cytoplasm or they are exocytosed into the interstitial fluid. From the interstitial fluid, they may be diffusing into the blood circulation for its transport into the target site of action. Or these peptides or these active hormones are directly diffused into the blood circulation. There are two conditions. In the first condition, the hormones are first released into the extracellular fluid, from where they are diffused into the blood circulation, and in the same second case they are directly diffused into the or directly exocytosed into the blood circulation, and through the blood circulation they are transported into the site of action. Okay, there could be two stimuli that causing exocytosis. Okay, usually they are exocytosed as a physiological requirement is arise. Okay, so the exocytose process are initiated either by, there are two processes. One is high concentration of cytosolic calcium ions due to the depolarization of plasma membrane. Okay, that's the first case. Or in the second case, stimulation of endocrine cell surface receptors causing increased CAMP and subsequent activation of protein kinase that initiate hormone secretion. Okay, so in either way, the hormones are secreted into the blood circulation, and through the blood circulation, the hormone actually reaches its actual target tissue. Okay, since proteins are water soluble, that's the most important thing to understand when they are diffused. When we say they are diffused, the blood the blood plasma contains more than 90% water. Therefore, these proteinaceous hormones can easily be dissolved in the water because proteins are water soluble molecules, so they are easy to transport in the via blood. Okay, so this is another schematic representation of the same which I have already mentioned to you. I will provide you both of these images just like your notes, so it will be easier for you to understand. And I will give you a animated video which will explain almost everything. Okay, so